Back to our blue furry friend we go. Hello, everyone.
Welcome to Sonic Adventure and Adventure 2?
Yes, we're doing
An
both.
Adventure 2
And
discussion
one
overview.
and one other game, which I'll get to.
Sorry,
But
say it again?
I said, and one other game, which we will get to.
Yes.
But so Sonic was a big success on the Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn.
Wow. Sega Saturn, wow.
So when the Sega Saturn came around, most people were like, "Oh, where's the new Sonic game?" And we got a compilation. Okay.
It's like what
And a port of a Genesis game.
for the Saturn.
Okay. And a really bad racing game.
We were supposed to get a Sonic Extreme game, but that ended up getting canceled, but probably for the better because it looked interesting, but very weird.
I think a smart move would have put CD on the Saturn,
Yeah,
at least on
why
Sonic Jam.
didn't they do that?
I don't know, but when their new console Dreamcast launched, they were like, "We're putting a Sonic game on there," and by God, they did. Sonic Adventure.
Yeah, and it
Which
was amazing at the
which
time.
is I think is still remembered as one of the best games in the series by most people.
Yeah, mostly the Sonic and Tails and stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. So
yes, the difference with this is instead of just playing as Sonic or Tails or Knuckles, you have a assortment of what, 5 characters now?
6.
Oh, 6. Yeah,
Technically 7, which we'll get to.
yeah. You got Sonic, Tails, Knuckles,
Knuckles. Amy
Amy.
from Sonic CD is back.
Yeah, new design and all that too.
Well, they
But
all have new design.
well, Sonic and Knuckles is about the same looking.
Well, his
Same
eyes
with
are different
Tails.
colored now.
Ooh,
They're
yeah,
all
but
they're all a bit taller and less pudgy.
yes, they're all blocky and Dreamcasty, and I love it.
Then there's clearly the best character in the series, Big the Cat.
Froggy?
We'll get to him in a
Froggy!
second. And we get an interesting character. We get to play as one of Eggman's robots, which is a different angle I wasn't expecting.
I thought that was honestly really cool and still is. In terms of just like, wow, this is
So
nice. And the gameplay itself is still fun.
we'll talk about each character individually, but the gameplay is a lot different than the classic Sonic games.
Yeah, it feels like they made a hybrid of it. Like they kind of kept it slightly open-ended, not by much, but
Like it's no
like it,
longer a zone with a couple of acts and a boss fight. It's just a giant level, and occasionally there are bosses.
excuse me. And I think there's 11 stages in total because you got
There
Sonic
are
going through all the
well,
stages except Hot Shelter.
yeah, there are 11 stages between 6 characters, and we're gonna go through each stage individually. We're gonna talk about each stage, and we're gonna talk about each character.
Yeah, let's do it from Sonic's perspective anyway, because
I'm gonna do it in the Sonic level order, and then I'll throw in one level somewhere.
hmm
So when you start the game off, you can actually only pick Sonic.
yeah, which is fine.
So you have to start with Sonic. And the story starts with him hopping through buildings, and like he sees the cops and he's like, "Yo, what's going on?" So first off, it's weird he's interacting with people. Like he's interacting with normal humans. It's weird.
You forgot the best part. Oh yeah, this is happening.
We'll talk about the voice acting later. This is the first Sonic game with voice acting.
Yeah, crazy. For
And like
1999.
a fucking big
Weird.
water monster just shows up
Yeah, and you're
named
like, what the
Chaos.
fuck?
This is one of the only games I can think of where it starts you immediately in a boss fight.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other Sonic game that's done that.
I can't think of many games that do that. Where
So
the first
weird.
thing you do is a boss fight.
Yeah, but at least you get a grasp of the controls, and you have the homing attack, which is pretty much like, oh, I gotta use that to attack enemies like chaos here. So it's a good little easy boss for you to get the grasp of this new style of gameplay compared to the Genesis games.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the controls and the characters in a minute. Let's go through the individual stages. So the first stage you're going well, first off, you have the first overworld, the adventure field, which is called Station Square.
Yeah, it's
It's
not big either.
the only
Just right.
none of them are big. The only big one is the Mystic Ruins.
Yeah, and that's split off into three sections, I believe. You
Yes,
have the
great.
main area with the
Then the
train.
jungle and then Angel Island. So
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I always love the hub worlds. I don't know. I love just being able to run around, and screw around in between levels.
and each hub world has a set of levels in it. I think Egg Carrier only has one, but we'll get to the Egg Carrier.
Two, two. Hot shelter and sky deck.
Oh yeah, Hot Shelter. So the first level is Emerald Coast.
Great first level and great impressions
Oh,
of how the game will be.
you go through this level. It's the first level for Sonic, the third level for Big, and the second level for. So it's a beautiful stage for the time, and the music is superb.
Yeah, what's funny is some of the music that was in this game was taken from 3D Blast on the
Yeah, and
Genesis.
it sounds so much better here.
It's beautiful.
Like, this is a really fun first stage, and Sonic 06 tried to emulate it with Sonic 06.
Yeah, it failed massively.
But it's a great first impression, especially for Sonic, because like it gets you really used to the controls. It's not very difficult, and it's just a fun level to blaze through.
Yeah, and it's not like the classics where it's built vertically and horizontally. It's mostly just follow the pathway, get to
Actually,
the end.
this is one of the more open levels in the game, to be honest, because there are actually quite a few pathways.
Yeah, I mean, like all pathways lead to the same end, but like say you're at the lighthouse area, you can kind of jump off and go look around on the ground, see what's hiding. I like that.
Also, this level is great for speedrunners.
Oh my god. And the time you need to get the emblem for it is pretty damn tight. It's like a
But
minute,
if you know how to skip stuff, you're good.
and that's where the spin dash comes in. It makes the game so easy to break and make it work in your way in terms of how high you want to jump and how far you want to jump.
So
It's
the next
insane.
stage is Windy Valley, which is the second level for Sonic, the first level for Tails, and I believe the third level for Gamma.
Mm, I think so.
Not as strong of a stage as Emerald Coast, in my opinion, but that's some really cool set pieces, like with the tornado.
Yeah, I wish we got the original beta version of the level, which was
That was
like,
a cool thing.
yeah, it was so open and all that stuff. It just felt like a classic Sonic stage, but instead they just kind of cut it down and put that in instead, which kind of
By the way,
disappoints
when
me.
we're talking about the stage, we're generally speaking talking about Sonic's version because Sonic's version of the stage is the most complete, full version of the level.
Yeah, and you're gonna be playing. You most people that play this game are gonna want to play as Sonic the most,
Well,
or
he's got
Or even Tails.
Sonic has the most levels. Most of these levels, you're going to hear me say, "Well, Sonic did this level," because the level order we're going in is Sonic's level order. So,
And he goes to every level except one.
yeah, and we'll get to that in a minute. But the third level, Casinopolis, I personally think is Sonic's most boring stage.
Yeah, it's repetitive. Well, you can get it done quickly if you go through the sewer, but But one thing that's very nice, and it's something the franchise we talked about before that they have in this is nights. And at the time,
I
I
do
didn't know what the
admittedly
hell.
like, I do admittedly like the aesthetic of the pinball games,
Oh
and
yeah,
I like the music, like especially the Knights one.
yeah. As a kid, it was so freaking
And
cool
like
just
this
seeing
was actually my
Sonic.
first. This was my first introduction to Knights, and I was like, what is
I didn't,
going on here?"
I didn't even have a name for it, but the fact that like I was seeing Sonic just flying through just this area and all that stuff was just so magical at the time.
Yeah,
I was
so
just
you like The sewer area is actually a normal stage. So that part's kind of fun, but
It's great music too. Really
yeah,
good music.
this is the third level for Sonic, the second level for Tails, and the
Tails goes
second level for Knuckles.
and Tails goes straight to the sewers.
Knuckles actually has unique areas in this stage because he's got the upper area that Sonic can't get to.
Yes, and I think it works out well for him, honestly.
Mhm.
If you hate the Sonic statue, you can break it, and I guess the way to get that is to get a couple thousand rings or so
Yeah,
for it
you
to
could make
actually
it.
be
You
built.
can make it in Sonic's level. I just never have the chance.
There's no reason to do it because I thought, why is there a statue in Knuckles' story now? But now I'm looking back, and it's like Sonic spent all this time making that nice statue, and Knuckles is like, "Fuck you," and takes down the statue. It's like, oh, you dick.
I mean, it's not on. Honestly, Sonic stage you have to get like 400 rings to get through it, and it's kind of annoying.
I have one last thing to say right for now about the hub world of Station Square. Is that if you have the Dreamcast version or the PC version with better SADX, you can re-implement this stuff. Uh, there was like a Christmas event where you have Christmas trees all over Station Square. You could have like a person's like face model pop up and stuff like that all over the place. Balloons everywhere, Dreamcast symbol stuff everywhere. It
I've
just
seen
made
that
the
stuff.
city look.
It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I played through it on that better SADX, and I was like, this is so cool, and you have interactions with it.
Because I have the Dreamcast version, but I don't have. I obviously I can't get that stuff anymore.
Yeah,
But
you actually you can, because some Chad was able to buy the domain for the Sonic Adventure website, and I believe it's still up. So if you're able to get your Dreamcast online, you can go to that site and download that stuff to your VMU. You'd have to get Ethernet adapter for your Dreamcast, but that's a little expensive, $200, $300.
yeah, I mean, it's a cool. I like that. I like the idea of that stuff. I wish it was the DX port as an unlockable or something. But
Yeah, but they just omitted all that extra stuff.
anyway, the next stage is Ice Cap back from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which is cool that they brought a level back
But
for
it's
the
so
first.
short.
Yeah, it's honestly probably the easiest level in the game. Like it's not hard.
It's a doggy, but
Yeah, my
yeah,
dog's going crazy today.
he agrees. He agrees that the level sucks for the most part.
I mean, I like it as Tails because it gets to the best part of the stage really quickly.
Well, immediately.
Yeah, exactly. It's the fourth level for Sonic, the third level for Tails, and the second level for Big.
He's like, "What?" Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, it's a stage. Like it's okay.
You
It's,
know what's? I'll talk about Big's gameplay when we get there, though.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So the next stage is Twinkle Park,
yeah. Twinkle Park is really fun.
which is the fifth level for Sonic, the first level for Amy, and the first level for Big. Actually,
Yeah, it starts out with going into like bumper cars, and you just race through the area. It's a little jank, but if you figure out how to manipulate the faster, and then it's fine. But yeah, yeah, you just drive through it first. It's playing some Sonic 3D Blast music, I believe. And once you get there, you get to the main stage, and it just assaults your ears with amazing music. You're on a roller coaster, and then you do something like bowling, and then you go through like a merry-go-round to get to the other side, avoiding spike balls. It's crazy how many set pieces this level has for the time, anyway. I love it. And when it comes to breaking it, it's absolutely fun to do because at the very start, after you get on the roller coaster, you just go back and there's a platform below the entrance to where you drop down, and then you can go onto a platform and go bam, take that and just do a spin dash jump all the way over to a certain section of the stage, skipping about a minute and a half or so of the level. I
also
love it.
Amy has a unique section in this level with the mirrors and stuff.
That's honestly pretty cool, but
It's
it would be
kind of
maybe
it was kind of creepy when I was a kid. I'm not gonna lie.
it is kind of creepy. The music itself didn't help.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but if
Uh,
Amy controlled better, then that would have been a way more fun. But
next,
Yeah.
Next, you have my favorite stage in the game, Speed Highway.
Oh, that's a great stage. If it's easy to like fly off the stage though if you're not good at, what's the word? Understanding Sonic's physics.
Yeah, exactly. My dog is going crazy today.
He's a happy boy.
Oh, jeez. Um, it's the sixth level for Sonic, the first level for Knuckles, and the last level for Tails.
I thought I thought it was the fifth stage for Speed Highway.
No, Speed Highway was six.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Huh. Do you have a list?
Yeah, I have it open.
That's weird. I
You
thought it was
know,
level 5.
Twinkle Park is fifth, and then Speed Highway is sixth.
Hmm. Okay.
Because four was Ice Cap. So
All right. Next
I mean,
level?
it's one of the most fun stages in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, you've got good platforming at the very first part of the level, and then once you get to the second part, it's like, what the hell? Sonic's running down a building. It's playing music in sync with it. Like when you get to the end, the music stops, and then my favorite part of the stage is the at dawn section. The music is absolutely phenomenal. I can't get enough of that. And you have it's a very open section of the game, the most open, honestly, because you can
Yeah.
get and this pathway, you can go that pathway, and it's each way is distinctive from the last. And there's nice little nooks and crannies to find, items and stuff like that. It's just really fun. I love it.
So the next level is also a big favorite of mine, which is Red Mountain. I love Red Mountain. I think Red Mountain.
Red Mountain, yum.
Yum. But I love the
Wait,
music. I love how open it is. I love the aesthetic.
the music is pretty good too. It's weird, but it's pretty good. Uh, and then when you get to the second half, you have like you're in a volcano, really, and there's lava that rises. It's a fun little time, and you see for some reason jail cells with things in there.
Yeah, I want to know what that is. I've wanted to know what that is for years.
Maybe we entered hell, and those are
Yeah.
prisons.
Yeah, so this is the seventh level for Sonic, the third stage for Knuckles, and the fourth stage for Gamma.
Mhm.
And it's
Next,
real. It's a really cool level. I like.
and then we have something like a mini game we forgot to mention.
Yeah, so
Sky
there's a couple of
Chase.
mini games. So there's two Sky Chase sections. You got to play twice each. You play Sky Chase four times total.
That's annoying.
If you did one as Sonic, if you did the first one as Tails and the second one as Sonic, it would be fine.
Yeah, but
Because you get the easier one to Tails and the harder one to Sonic. That makes sense in my brain. But I actually got to do it both as both characters, and Tails's are literally back. They're like one right after the other. It's ugh.
yeah, I don't like Sky Chase in this, to be honest, after having to play it so many times.
Panzer Dragoon. This ain't
What?
because they're trying to be a rail shooter, and it's just nowhere near as good as their actual rail shooters here. Panzer Dragoon.
Yeah, I know. Panzer Dragoon is far better of a rail shooter than this freaking mini game.
We also
You don't
missed.
even.
There's another mini game called Twinkle Circuit, where it's like a bumper car racing.
Yeah, it's basically what like take Sonic's like first part of Twinkle Park and make it a full-on mini game.
I mean, every character can do it. So
But not every character can access it from the hub world. You have to go into the minigame section in the menus
I
for
think they might
Gamma.
be able to after you beat the game. There might be a
Uh,
pass right there.
Gamma can't get in to Twinkle Park area, and let's see who else. Tails can't.
Knuckles doesn't go up there either.
No, and Tails can't do it. So again, you have to do it from the menus.
But
Like I know
anyway,
you can't get in there.
I'm sure there's a way you could break the game.
Well, of course, this game is very buggy, but we'll get to that in the port.
Next, we have what is definitely the worst stage in the game,
I hate it.
Sky Deck.
Yeah, well, that's supposed to be the entrance to the sky deck.
That it's the eighth level for Sonic, the fourth level for Tails, and the last level for Knuckles, and they're all doing it at the same time in the story, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
But
like the stage like flips around and stuff. You could chalk the reason why you could chalk that up to happening is Knuckles is up there at the top, changing the lever for looking for the emeralds.
which is fucking with Sonic and Tails.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't make sense if you play Knuckles because you can't flip it that crazily, but I like it. It's a nice little attention to detail that I never thought
Doesn't mean the
about.
level's fun. It sucks.
Yeah, like there's no good section. This level's split up into
I mean, it's only
uh
kind of good with Tails because Tails can just fly through everything.
yeah, but the platforming itself is so small and very narrow. It's just follow the small pathway to get to the end. There's no exploration in this level whatsoever.
None.
I mean, there is
But
a little bit in one section where the wind's blowing you around, but it's not interesting enough to really look around at stuff. I don't
next,
know. It's the weakest level in the entire game.
next up, we have the most platformy stage in the game, which is Hot Shelter.
Right. Well,
Only this is the one stage Sonic does not go to,
yeah, this level is exclusive to Big and Amy.
and Gamma
Oh,
too.
and Gamma. Yeah, you're right.
This is the last level for Amy and Gamma and Big, and I no, it's the second level for Amy, the last level for Big, and the last level for Gamma.
Yeah,
Okay.
because yeah,
Um,
and
it
it's not bad. It's all right.
it feels like it was ripped out of a Mario game, to be
Yeah,
honest.
especially for Amy, but like for Big, it's literally just go down a hallway or whatever, and then get to the big open area with water, and boom, catch Froggy. It's like, oh, but Gamma's version, I believe, is really long.
No, no, Amy's is the long one.
I know. Well, I know it's Gamma's longest stage, but
Oh, by far.
yeah,
But it's not like the worst thing.
no, but it's fine. But
It's a level like
it exists. It's not offensive in terms of the Sonic design, but it's not great or bad. It just exists.
next up we have what I believe is personally the hardest stage in the game, Lost World.
Yeah,
Um,
they made a game based off that name.
that's
Wow.
crazy. It's the
Yeah,
second to last level for both Sonic and Knuckles, and they're the only two who go there.
and I think honestly, it's the coolest looking level in the game.
I love there's a whole piece of music that is only in the ending of Sonic stage.
Yeah, and then I believe it's Knuckles' like default music stage for that level,
It is.
and it's really good too. But it's a very it's probably the hardest level in the game, I'd say.
It's definitely the most difficult level in the game.
Yeah, but it's really fun. Like regardless of that.
When I first got to this level, I was stuck here for a while.
Yeah, I always got screwed over at the mirror puzzle area or uh the snake, the goddamn snake.
Yeah.
See, this game is not programmed very good in a lot of ways, so you could be standing on this. Well, first you got to raise the water all the way to the top, which is a pain in the ass, and then well, not really a pain.
Unless you just break it with the spin dash.
Well, yeah, of course. But when you get on the snake, a lot of times if you're just like standing still, which you don't want to do, Sonic will start getting like shoved backwards off the snake for some reason. Then you'll fall off. And I'm
It's
like, what?
awkward, yeah.
Yeah, so you're just kind of struggling that entire time. But it doesn't matter which version it is, Dreamcast, GameCube, PC port, or well, HT port. It's always buggy.
Yeah, it is.
hmm but then you have like a rolling boulder coming at you that catches on fire. I don't know how rocks catch on fire, but that's besides the point. It's really cool. Uh, then you have a section with mirrors and light. Like you have to like reflect the light off the mirror, and then you can see where you're going ahead. They give you a electric shield to fuck with you because at the end of that part you have to use a light speed dash.
There's
And
actually
Mhm.
this level is actually pretty big on story development too at the end of Sonic stage.
Yeah,
But
but it doesn't make sense because like in terms of how the level works out, you go into the pyramid or not pyramid, the temple, and then you just appear in the past somewhere because there's a part where you go outside and you see like a bunch of temples in the background and giant forests and stuff like that. It's like, where the hell is this?
My
You know,
cat is looking at me like I just offended her entire life. She's just like, "Hey, don't talk about stupid hedgehogs in front of me."
you monster, don't ever do that again. It's like, okay.
It's like, "I'm sorry, kitty." But then we have the final level, final egg, which is the first level for some reason.
That's funny. They should have just named it First Egg for Gamma. Just a joke.
But it's the last level for both Sonic and Amy, and it does fit the final level aesthetic.
Yes, it does. You got your Eggman, like Death Egg kind of aesthetic looking thing, metal everywhere, robots everywhere, and it's a pretty fun stage. Not
And
gonna lie.
it's definitely a. I think it's one of the strongest final stages in the whole series, if I'm honest with you,
Yeah, it's better than things like Eggman Land
or even Cannon's Core.
or even the end of the world.
Oh God!
Yeah,
Now let's talk about the bosses.
they are disgusting in terms of difficulty. Absolutely piss easy, except
Except
possibly
for
Sonic's
except for
final boss.
except for one, yeah. So you have Chaos Zero, which is the first boss in the game, which is fought only as Sonic, and he's a joke. Like you just
Yes,
pop him in the head. That's it.
but it's a good way to get used to the controls that they give you, which is nice. We didn't even talk about the homing attack for Sonic.
Well, we haven't talked about the gameplay really yet.
Okay,
So after that, there's the Egg Hornet, which is fought by Sonic and Tails. And as Sonic, just spam the homing attack, will be dead in 10 seconds.
as a kid, I didn't know you could do that, but when I figured that out, I was like, that's really bad programming, and they never fixed it either.
Like, he is so much harder as Tails, but still not hard.
Well, I was gonna say, not you're like so much harder. I'm like, by how much?
I mean, it doesn't. I'm not saying it's still hard. I'm just saying as Tails, he's harder because you can't homing attack.
And I love that if you have no rings and jump at Eggman right before the results screen pops up, you have
You
no
get
rings.
drunk and die,
Yeah, I think
but
it
you
works with
still
Tails
win.
too. Yeah, it's like I'll play with you some other. Ugh, and he falls over.
Next up, we have the first boss for Knuckles, which is Chaos 2,
And all of his bosses are only chaos, which is interesting.
which makes the final boss a little weird, and we'll get to that.
Mm.
So, um, he's a. I find Chaos 2 to be more annoying than anything because he
He's
has that
not hard
shield up.
though.
But yeah, because he has that shield up all the damn.
All you need to do is just keep gliding into him, and you'll break through the shield, and bam.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I didn't know that for a while, but I saw someone do it. I was like, oh, that's how you do it faster. And
Next up,
it's not bad, but it could be worse.
we have what I think is the worst boss in the game, Chaos 4.
Yes, because you fight him 3 times.
And the patterns never change. It's the same boss fight 3 times. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles.
Yeah, and his patterns for attacking and showing his head to attack are so inconsistent. Sometimes they'll do attacks that you've never seen before because a claw swipe or whatever, or maybe him turning into a bunch of like different like water balls and then coming after you. Just some attacks you're like, wow, I've never seen it before because the AI is so rock stupid. It only used 1 or 2 attacks.
Next up, I'm going to group all of these together because they're all the same, which
But
is,
one last thing I gotta say about KS4 is that if you play as Tails, he's actually a little easier. He has less health.
yeah, that's true.
Very weird.
I'm going to group all of these guys together because they're all the same, which is the E series robots.
But we didn't talk about the character battles.
Fuck you. Anyway,
It's oh no, you mean?
yeah, they're terrible. Um,
Yeah, and they're hilarious.
E101 Beta, E103 Delta, E104 Epsilon, and E105 Zeta. They're all the same. You just shoot them and they die.
The only one that's like slightly different is the Zeta, I believe. He's
Oh
powered
yeah,
by a bunch of Dreamcasts.
yeah. Next
I
up,
lo-
we have Amy's final boss, Zero, which is the robot that chases Simon. He's a joke.
yeah, probably the most probably the boss that requires probably the most thought, maybe?
Not really.
Okay.
Like all you gotta do is hit him
Yeah,
with a hammer and then hit him again. That's all you do. It's not hard.
him into the electric barrier and bam, his head pops
Which
open.
there's a
Cool.
reference to that in Frontiers.
There is?
Yeah, with the sumo boss, you have to hit him to an electric fence too.
That's amazing. I didn't think about that. Holy crap.
Next up, we have Gamma's final boss, which is Beta Mark II.
Yeah, which I
No,
honestly think is probably the best boss in terms of just, like, being fun.
I don't agree. I don't think it's a bad boss. I don't think it's the best boss though.
Well, but isn't it cool when he's just shooting multiple spirit bombs at you?
Yeah, little kamehamehas. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, and then he just charges up one, it's so huge, you're like, "Whoa."
Next up, we have Chaos 6, who is fought by Sonic, Knuckles, and kinda Big.
Yeah, and that boss can either last, uh, a few minutes or 5 seconds, depending if you're lucky with aiming the rod.
Yeah, no, Chaos 6 is easier than he should be. Because like he has less health than Chaos 4.
If you use the if you use the light speed attack or Knuckles' maximum heat Knuckles attack, you
You
can
just
like double the damage on the attack. The only time I think I've seen that be done in any boss, I could be wrong. I should test that out sometime.
Yeah, yeah. Um so then we have Tails' final boss, the Egg Walker.
It's a decent boss.
It's sinister. Like it's sinister as fuck.
Because Eggman, the voice actor for him, Dean Bristow, went a little bit hard on his performance. I guess you could
Yeah.
say.
Then we have Sonic's final boss, the Egg Viper.
That one's probably the hardest boss.
Oh, easily. Easily.
Requires the most thought. It's Now it's not hard for me, but as a kid, it took me so many tries.
Yeah, no,
So many.
the first time I got to him, he kicked my ass.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then after you beat every character story, you unlock the Supersonic story, which the
Eh,
whole purpose of the Supersonic story is to encounter the final boss, Perfect
Perfect
Chaos.
chaos. Yeah,
Which this is what I'm saying before. Knuckles only fights Chaos.
yeah. But
So why
Sonic,
does Sonic fight Chaos at the end?
I mean, I don't know. It just makes sense to me because Supersonic and
Yeah,
big
Supersonic.
giant boss.
Sonic is the one who defeats Chaos in the end, despite it being built up as like Knuckles' rival character.
And this is the first of many games where Sonic is not being. You can't use Supersonic in stages and is relegated only to the final boss.
And this goes on until '06. So get used to that. Actually, no, this goes
No,
on until Unleashed.
yeah,
Get used to
yeah.
that.
The first game that they made it possible for it to be playable 3D was Colors.
Oh shit. But
I know.
Perfect Chaos thematically makes sense as the final boss.
Well, they fucked the music up.
Yeah, but he's not really difficult.
No, you just gotta be good at dodging his attacks. Other than that, you just go really fast through the area and boom, just run into him as fast as you can, and you'll hit his brain.
The continuity makes it seem like he's super powerful, but
Yeah, but he's not.
Supersonic is like, "Hey, eat me."
If we could get a Sonic Frontiers version of that kind of boss in a remake, could you imagine
Oh
how crazy it would
yes.
be?
Oh, like perfect chaos on the scale of a Titan fight. Oh my god,
Yes, because you know how big he is in the CG cutscene, right?
I would shit my pants.
In game, he is a fraction of the size that he is in the CG cutscene when they first show him off.
Yeah. Now let's
Just
talk about the game.
the gameplay itself, the most important part of the game.
In
Start with
terms of
Sonic.
character control, this is some of the smoothest 3D Sonic control we have.
Yeah, mostly for Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Everyone else
Yeah.
has their own kind of physics. Amy is the worst, I honestly think, for
But
platforming stages.
I think Sonic especially controls quite well for his first outing in 3D.
And it still controls great to this day. It's just the bugs that can kind of ruin it, but that's just whatever. I can look past it.
Yeah,
He's got a
yeah.
spin dash. He's got a light speed attack, and what do they call it? The light ring
Light,
dash or something.
light speed dash.
Okay, to go along a trail of rings. It's a little not easy, not fun to use in this game because you have to stand, charge it up with your spin dash, walk up to the rings, and boom. Sonic Adventure 2 would fix this, but yeah, you don't get a lot of crazy things to work with Sonic in terms of power ups, but other characters have their own power ups, and they're kind of nice.
So Tails is a lot like Sonic, except he can fly. His states are a lot shorter, and he races people.
And he wins a ribbon.
He's gonna believe in himself.
Oh, he will. You just gotta believe. Oh wait, wrong franchise. Sorry,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Knuckles is he's different. Um,
he controls like Sonic on ground, jumping makes sense, but he
I mean, he
has
controls well, and admittedly, in this game, I don't mind his gameplay where you have to find the Master Emerald pieces,
it's very easy in this game because the radar lets you find them all at any time and any you want.
and the areas are all condensed, so they don't take forever.
And some like those harder ranks, rank A, I think it is, missions for time. Some of them expect you to finish the level in like 25, 30 seconds with Knuckles.
Yeah, the extra stages can blow it, but the main stages aren't too bad for Knuckles.
The only thing I have a problem with Knuckles in this game is the way he feels when climbing walls and digging. It doesn't feel like they got it quite mastered yet, which they would honestly master in Adventure 2 in terms of his feeling and physics of climbing and digging into walls. Other than that, it's all right. He's pretty fun. And he's got a punch attack too. The early footage of Sonic Adventure, he had a much more animated like punch attack. It looked really smooth, but they just changed it for something really stiff and meh looking, which is sad, but whatever.
Then we have Amy.
Yeah,
Ooh.
worst character in the game. It's a clunkier Mario.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Well, I mean, you run at a slow pace, you jump, but even then, it's all you have is for attacking is your hammer spin.
Yeah, and most
Amy
of the time
doesn't
you're
whip
not going to
the
want to
ball.
fight as her. And most of the time you're not going to want to fight as her anyway because it's not fun.
It really is not. She just has levels that she has to do puzzle solving or running away from zero. That's literally it.
And then we have literally the most pointless character in the game.
Froggy.
Big the fucking.
And I'm one of the weird ones that doesn't mind his gameplay. If anything, I find it kind of like a little neat to just explore some levels, do something
It's
different.
so unnecessary.
It's not terrible, but it's just not needed. It should have been a side thing, honestly. Like after you
Yeah.
beat the game, you unlock his story and you can see what he was doing during all the events of the game just for fun.
Like,
But no, they integrated him into the main plot.
what does he have to do with chaos? Whatnot? Nothing.
Only because Froggy has a tail and that's
They
Chaos's
they
tail and he's
they
possessed.
forced him in. They arbitrarily forced.
Yeah, it's dumb. It was meant to market the Sega fishing peripheral, but yeah, no one really cared to use it for that. I've
So,
never used it for that,
me
so
neither.
clearly it didn't work.
And then we have Gamma.
It was pretty fun to play. He's got good turning, he's got good speed, uh, great jump height, and he has a jet booster, which allows him
Obtain
to
item. Obtain
obtain
item.
item. Yeah, I like Gamma as a personality in this. He's so dull, but at the same time, you could tell there's consciousness behind it. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Um. We didn't talk about the other two adventure fields yet. So the Mystic Ruins, which is basically just your big forest area.
I like it,
It's pretty cool.
except the jungle area.
Yeah, I can't say I'm a fan of.
Yeah, it's
There's also
basically a
another mini game
maze.
in there, Sand Hill. Only Tails can go to.
Yeah, I wish that was a full-on level because I love the aesthetic.
Sonic can do it in the menu, but he never does.
Yeah, that's very weird, but
Um,
it's fun.
and then there's the Egg Carrier, which is the smallest hub world in the game. It's a space. It's not a space. It's a big
What
battleship.
what what's funny is in the export you can like glitch out of the confines of the walls, and the ship is fucking huge because there's collision down there, and you can just run around. So the ship itself is actually fucking huge, but just what you can explore on the A carrier itself is pretty small.
Huh.
Yeah, just look up a video of it, and you'll be like, "Oh my god, this thing is fucking huge."
But I personally love the ever living shit out of Sonic. Um,
Same.
it was the first Sonic game I had ever actually played because I never grew up with a Genesis. I didn't have a Saturn. My first Sega console was the Dreamcast.
I started with Sonic 2,
So
so
Sonic Adventure is everyone has that game that they have a really strong nostalgic attachment to.
I have it with Crash 1.
I mean, I do too, but everyone has that one game from their childhood that just made them the gamer they are. And for me, that was Sonic Adventure. So,
For me it was Crash Bandicoot, first game I ever played.
but I mean, that was the first game I ever played too. But Sonic Adventure was the game that cemented me as a Sonic fan.
And the most magical way to play it was on the Dreamcast, just because of the system was magical itself, but just because it was made for that system, it's like, yeah. And the VMU interactions and battle card.
Admittedly, it hasn't aged the most gracefully. All the ports will tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want something better, like if you want the best way to play it, you get it on PC, get better SADX. It basically is just the Dreamcast version with widescreen. It's nice
Like
at 60 frames per second.
like the GameCube port adds like a mission mode and a Metal Sonic skin, but it
Those are
also
it's all right.
and it tries to run at 60 FPS, but it doesn't like it's not stable.
It it will be 60 FPS in the stages, but in cutscenes it's locked to 30 still or less. I don't know what happened there, but again, on the PC version, it's a stable 60 in the stages.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. This game wasn't built for 60 FPS. I don't.
No, at least the cutscenes weren't. If they tried to do it 60 FPS with the cutscenes, the lip syncs and well, the lack thereof lip syncing, just the audio would be out of sync. That's happened with multiple with ports of Rareware games like Banjo,
And like
DK64.
personally, I also feel like the GameCube version just feels better to play. Not the GameCube version, the Dreamcast just feels better to play,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
and so does the PC version. When you add in better SADX, they make the controls a little bit better. It's weird. Like it feels
And
natural to play.
and avoid the Xbox and the PlayStation version at all costs.
Yeah, please, if you're gonna get the HD version, go with the PC port because there's so much you can do with it. So fun.
So 2 years later, we got a follow up, uh, Sonic Adventure 2, which I think we're gonna actually save for a separate video because I did not think this was gonna go on this long.
Neither did I. I was gonna say, holy shit, now we gotta talk about Adventure 2, but that would probably be as long as this one,
Yeah,
honestly.
so we're gonna do Adventure 2 on its own.
Yes.
So before we go, I do want to quickly mention Sonic Shuffle.
Mm.
Don't.
Yeah, and last thing for me is the Chow Garden system. It
Oh
was
yes,
meant
yes, yes. Go ahead.
it was it's something I still love to this day. Frankie doesn't care about it, right?
No, not at all. Never have.
Okay, so for me, I love the idea of raising little pets. Okay, I don't know, it just seemed neat to me. It was a nice little way of having a gameplay loop for the adventure series. Okay, I want to raise the Chow. I need to go to a stage, get animals, boom, 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 get better at the stages, and you're pretty much set there. Raise the Chow, and on the Dreamcast version, it's very archaic. There's no stats. You just kind of have to wing it. There's no reason to do any of the races. It's just for fun. But what was cool, and you could do it with the GameCube version, is you could take your Chow, put them in your VMUs if they had batteries, and you could take them on the go, raise them a little bit there. And if you wanted to breed the Chow, you would take the two VMUs with a Chow in each one and just click them together, because you could link them together, which is really cool. I didn't know you could like attach two VMUs together, and then that can create an egg, and boom, you put your VMUs back in your system. The egg comes out of the machine, and that's how they do that there. Sonic Adventure 2 is relatively similar, more features, but the GameCube version was so cool in terms of being able to put a Chow into the tiny Chow Garden on the Game Boy Advance with Sonic Advance 1 and 2. And oh my god, I don't know. For me, I just love that idea. You can get exclusive items from the Tiny Chow Garden 2 to put into SA1 or 2. So that was really nice. Other than that, it's mandatory, I guess, if you want to get 100% in Sonic Adventure 1 for getting Metal Sonic, but
Oh, that's only the
uh,
DX version, the Dreamcast version.
you'll get anything for the Dreamcast version. And they have the black market, which is really weird. They sell children on the black market and eggs. Very weird. But it's kind of vanilla black market for SA1. SA2, when we get to it, is a lot more beefy. But that's all I have to say about the Chow Garden right now. Because Adventure 2 is a little bit different, but enough to be the best version to play it. So yeah.
So, anyway, Sonic Shuffle. It's supposed to be
Yeah,
Sonic's answer to Mario Party, and it sucks.
yeah. Frankie and I, when we hung out, we played it with two other people. I was high
People,
as shit,
I'm
and
about to say everyone was getting high except me, and
my God, it was
like one
just
dude
so
passed out.
boring.
One dude got so bored that he passed out because he got so high.
And I'm just sitting here like because we were playing the Saturn so much when we went to the Dreamcast. I was like bitching at you, and you were not acknowledging me. I was like, why are the buttons so small? But
Anyway, the mini games suck. The board design sucks. Don't play it.
yeah, yeah, don't. It's even if you're curious, just don't. You're not gonna have a good time.
You're probably gonna want to kill a baby. Something like
Well, that's fucked up.
that. Yeah, it's a little extreme.
Yes.
But anyway,
Yeah, I think that's all I have to
that's
say about Adventure One.
yeah. I thought we were gonna do both SA Sonic Adventure games in this video. That ain't freaking happening.
No. Okay.
Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out now because this is going on for almost an hour just on Sonic Adventure 1.
Adventure Two probably as long, or if not longer,
So anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for watching.
or listening.
Yeah, whichever. The next one we're going to be doing is not Sonic Adventure 2, but it is the Spider-Man games on PS4.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about Spider-Man next time.
You'll be having a
Who
lot
knows?
more to say
I
about
don't
that
want
than
to.
me.
I don't want to say we're going to do both because we may talk about the first game forever. We'll see. But
Yeah.
until that time, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And if we don't do another one of these before the end of the year, Happy New Year. We'll see you guys in 2023.
Saying that pretty much every time until the end of the year.
Honestly. But anyway, take care, guys.